the Game of Thrones author has sued OpenAI over copyright claims. So George R.R. Martin claims that Sam Altman's ChatGPT has used his books without permission, which is basically an extension of what we were talking about. But if we specifically look at it from the angle of an author, I've written a book. If Bard or OpenAI took that information and started giving it to people, I'd certainly feel a little bit like, hang on a second, but I get the angle that they're coming from as well. But what are your takes? What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it feels like the sort of same point. Actually, to be honest, it is a creator. There is some nuance between sort of music and the written word.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of similarities as well. But again, as George R.R. Martin's got perfectly reasonable grounds to kick up a fuss, I think, and I, as I say, I think the direction of travel is that these large language model companies are going to have to start coughing up for that, basically.
Yeah.
I wonder whether it's accurate. Of course, I mean, I could go onto the internet and find out everything about Game of Thrones without actually reading the Game of Thrones books.
Yeah.
There's enough content out there in the world to have achieved what it is that GPT can do. I noticed that nowhere is OpenAI kind of saying, no, it definitely wasn't us training this. They've not come out and said this is catastrophically not true. They've kind of just said, let's keep it for the courts. So
yeah. They scraped the entire internet and have sold it back to us for £20 a month, basically, which is fine. It's like a fancier, better Google. Because when you go to Google, you don't. When you type a question in or search for something, you don't want a bunch of ads and then you got to scroll down and then you click on it and then you research. You just want the answer.
Yep.
So I get this is a bit of a different question, really, but do you think something like a GPT tool could replace Google if it's giving you what you need rather than a list of links and ads?
Definitely, yeah. I already am. That's my main use for it. I think, to be honest, it's like sort of collating and quickly aggregating and communicating in a much better way what would take you much longer to do on Google, which I think is a nice sort of more positive ending note. Right, there is real value in that, and I like the model that it produces, which means people like you and I are happy to spend $20 a month on that, rather than being targeted with lots of micro advertising, kind of, which is the model that Google has to follow because no one's going to pay for search. So, I that could all change again. I'm sure there will be adverts in the winners of this. Whoever wins the sort of large language model search functionality, I'm sure that will happen eventually. But for now, it's a lovely model, and I think it's much healthier for society. And I think as well, just my last point is, speaking to some of my music artist friends, some of them are quite excited about it as a tool, and it's much like. I know people make comparisons with Photoshop, for example, in like the image space, and like you can see that with developers using Copilot right now, and even that enables me to write code that works, which is quite a surprise sometimes. But for the music space and the writing space, there's definitely value there. I think they've just got to figure out that little detail around copyrights and how that works. But it will be a tool eventually.
Yeah, I agree with you. What do you think, Sam?
I strongly agree that AI and the tools that you produce with it, rather than treating it as an end state in itself. Sure. Photoshop is a tool that photographers went, this is going to ruin our world. You can fake things. Other photographers went, this is a really cool tool. I can make new things using this tool. That's where we'll see the biggest winners.
I was just showing you before the pod AI pictures of myself, right? I mean, we didn't need a photographer, we didn't need a graphic designer, we just uploaded a bunch of images and boom, we had a month's worth of social media content.
Soon we won't need podcast hosts.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more nervous about that sort of thing, right? I mean, there is literally hundreds of hours of my voice and face on the internet, so anybody could make me say anything if they really wanted to. Do not do that, please.